MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.
Hi, everybody. Glad to have you with us for our Line Coaches Show. Tim Clifton, Stuart Jolley along with you. Tim, busy weekend on the Mars Hill University campus. Homecoming 2018. Good crowd here in Mirror Stadium. Saw a dandy of a ball game. We just held on to the ball in some key spaces. I think everybody would have left happy.
Yeah, I think turnovers played a major part, and I think we just ran out of time. We decided to play in the second half, and we were a little flat in the first half, and a couple of turnovers there put us in a bind, and we went down, at halftime. 24-7, and we had to fight our way back. But I thought we played an amazing second half. I thought we just kept fighting back, and I just thought that if we'd have come out and played the same way in the first half, I think it would have been a huge victory for us, and I think we would have. Won, and really in a really good fashion. I think we could have put some points on the board, in the first half instead of turning it over. I think it could have very easily have been 24-7 our way in the first half.
You and I talked about it last week that one of the challenges of coaches and players both going into a homecoming game is just tuning out all the distractions, because things are, as much as you try to not have things different, things are different on a homecoming weekend, and you wonder, does that play into anything in the first half? Because it's like, okay, now we got it out of our system, we're ready to play football.
Well, I think there are a lot of distractions. I think you have to do a good job of focusing in and getting ready to play, and I think we didn't really decide to play and probably till at the end of the half, But it does. I mean, it plays a part. But every team goes through it. Every team has a homecoming. So you just have to focus in, and I think it's something you work on every year to figure out what makes each team tick and how they can get focused in on playing and how you get them to play the first half.
Well, and I think as you mentioned, a good. Kind of hats off to all the guys, because they put together a very strong second half. There are a lot of teams that would just said, heck with it, it's hot, we're done. But no, that was not this Mountain Lion team. That's what we've seen all season long. They've been very resilient, and they certainly showed that in the second half.
Yeah, I thought we could have folded a 10 at halftime. Been very easy to come out and not play it in the second half. But they have been real resilient all year, and we just came up a little short, and a little bit more time on the clock. I think we pull off what we came to do, and but it proves you got to play. You got to play the whole game. I mean, it's 60 minutes, and that's what you have to play.
Quick game recap as Coach Clifton was talking back. First quarter, 11:06 mark. Jacob Moss gets a 14-yard pass from the QB. The kick's good. Tusculum's up very quick, 7-0. Then they come back, 8:30 mark, third of the first quarter. DeFatic nails a 43-yard field goal. At the end of the first quarter, it's 10-0 Tusculum. What are kind of the thoughts going through everybody's mind at that point in time? Obviously, hey, we let this thing get a little bit away from us, but the guys were able to, we came back and were able to score again. So from a coaching perspective, what's your focus right there? You get bing bang, you got 10 points on the board against you. What do you have to do?
Yeah, we had a quick turnover, and then they scored, and I think what you got to understand is the players have got to understand is that it's still a long game. You still can put points on the board. You still can get some turnovers. You still can make some plays to always put yourself back in it. And I think that's at halftime. You just tell them you hadn't played as well as you could play, and you've given them several scores, so let's go out and let's not give them any scores, and let's go get some. I think they responded when we came back out in the second half.
Certainly did. Second quarter, we'll wrap things up quickly. In the first half of play, Jacob Moss gets a 12-yard pass from Tony Pestone. The kick's good. Tusculum's up 17-0. Then Mars Hill comes back to the 7:44 mark. Craig Rucker, a 3-yard run. Tanner Fox nails the point after. It's a 17-7 game, but Tusculum comes back very quickly, again capitalizing on some of our miscues. Ponder with a 19-yard pass, kicks good, and going in at halftime, it's 24-7. And as you were saying, a lot of teams could have just folded the tent, but that was not the case for the Mountain Lions. They came out in the second half, 4:33 in the third quarter. Roberts comes in with a 4-yard run. Tanner Fox's kick's good. It's a 24-14 ball game with 4:33 in the third quarter. Then Mars Hill again, we get on the board. Jaquavian with a 42-yard run. That really got the crowd into things. And it's 24-21 at the end of the third. And at least from the perspective up here in the press box, there was a whole lot better feeling in the crowd at that point in time.
Yeah, I thought we had the momentum at that time too. But I thought we fought our way back and got back in it. And anytime you can cut the score to 24-21 after being down 24-7, you got to feel good. You feel like you got the momentum. And I think we all felt like we had the momentum.
Go into the fourth quarter, 12:32. Didn't take long. Tusculum on the board as Pratt punches it in from 3 yards out. The kick is good. It's a 31-21 game. And then Mars Hill able to control the ball, come down, we score. Basically, as time expires, again, you said early in this broadcast, we simply ran out of time because we were able to come down, 12-yard pass from Austin Brown to Clarendon Cowart. It's good. The kick is good. It's 31-28. Scoreboard's all zeros in terms of time, though, and nothing we could do it at that point in time.
No, and we got some turnovers. The defense worked, and we got some turnovers. Then we turned it over, and I think anytime and with the turnovers, we scored on every turnover, and they were able to score on our turnovers too, and. But we just kept fighting, and I think we had the opportunity. We put ourselves in a position to win the game in the second half.
Well, there it made a note. 9:48 in the fourth quarter. We're down here in the red zone, and it just doesn't go the way we needed to go. That was kind of our final turnover from our perspective. They're able to get the ball back and control the tempo. 2 early turnovers, they're able to put 10 points on the board as a result of that. Big afternoon for offense, though. 970 yards total offense, 519 of those in the air for us. So all that from a statistical standpoint was huge. But I looked at the time of possession by Tusculum. They controlled the ball for 35 minutes and 26 seconds. That's just amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You always want to control the clock, and we want to run the football. That's our goal is to run the football. And when you get behind, you got to play catch up a little bit, and then try to get a couple of quick scores. And we were able to get some quick scores, but we want to control the clock, and we want to control the rushing yards. That's a goal. And then going into the game, we said we had to win the turnover battle. That was going to be a key factor, was to win the turnover battle.
And that's kind of been a focus point for us all season long. You and I have taught, control the ball, hold on to it, cut down it, or just totally eliminate the turnovers, and get that third down percentage above 50% and keep it there on a regular basis.
That's right. That's right, and we were good in fourth down. No, we messed up an alignment, and it cost us on 1 fourth down. But we weren't real good on third down on either side of the ball, and we want to win third downs on both sides of the ball.
Player highlights in the contest. Austin Brown threw for 226 yards, completed 19 of 34 passes on the afternoon, one of those for a touchdown, and rushed for 91 yards. Jaquavian Watkins rushed for 98 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 14 yards per carry. Craig Rucker caught 5 passes for 34 yards. Tyler Ferguson with 60 yards rushing on the afternoon. Defensively, Chris Ferdinand, we interviewed Chris last week, 11 tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and Jaden King also with 11 tackles. Defensively and offensively, like you said, that second half, we really found our rhythm.
Yeah, we got focused in, and I think we did well on both sides of the ball. Just the defense had some really good stops, and the offense we found a way to move the ball consistently, and then we had a hurry up deal, and that's one of the reasons the time was different. We were so fast and getting down the field and getting lined up, and we scored fairly quick. But you want to get in a situation where in the fourth quarter you got to lead so you can just milk the clock. They were milking the clock against us, so with 5 minutes or so left, we started calling timeout because they were standing there running the clock down to 3 seconds and then snapping.
I know you watch enough college ball on TV, and they really talk about these 2-minute drills, 2-minute drills. But the reality is, when you've got a team like Tusculum that control the tempo so much, you don't even get a chance to implement that.
Yeah, we got it right there at the end of the game, and then we had one drive where the tempo was really upbeat, but we do 2-minute, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The long days of practice, we do 2 minutes ones against ones, and it's helped us. It's really helped us in the last 3 games, and I think our kids they won't panic. They've been in that drill enough, that they get used to going at that pace.
Well, and then in particular that last drive that we had, and some of this carrying over from our performance earlier in the quarter, adrenaline starts to play in that factor, and the guys did a really good job, at least how it looked from up here in the press box, of balancing that rush of adrenaline that we've got to boom, boom, boom come down the field, but at the same time making some smart heads-up plays.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of executing right there, and we were able to, on defense, we were able to force them into a situation they didn't want to be in, where they had to throw it, and then we got the pick. But Earl Adams did a great job of hitting the QB, and the ball came out, and we got it. You just like to have gotten that deal with about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes, and score an onside kick and go back to your to the 2-minute drill.
We'll come back. We'll talk to some of the Mountain Lion players. A whole lot more right after this.
Mars Hill University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home, and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
Welcome back for one of our player focuses here this evening. Brandon Berridge. Brandon is from, officially, if you look in the media guide, it says Sophia, North Carolina. And I said, where is that? He says, where Randleman is. Yes, we do. So you're glad to be up here in the cool Carolina mountains, even though it's got a bit warm. That's still a little bit better situation for you.
Yeah, it's been, they've had a lot of bad weather back home and stuff, so it's nice to be kind of further west away from all that.
Family, everybody been able to get through most of the flooding and everything without great difficulties?
Yeah, we're in kind of a good little part right in the middle, so didn't really flood a lot, but it rained a lot, so everybody back home, they're safe and sound.
So you are a senior, I guess technically, yes, senior, but understand you've already finished your degree?
I did. I graduated from Western with a business degree.
Okay.
Had some eligibility left and started branching out, looking for places to go to play, another year. Got lucky and got 2 years out of it. So I'm just very fortunate to be here at Mars Hill, and I'm just glad they gave me this opportunity.
You like the D2 fit?
I do. It's different coming from Division I, but you know I'd have went anywhere in the world that would have took me if I could have just played. So I'm just glad Coach Clifton gave me this opportunity to come and play.
So let's talk a little bit about, all right, you obviously get your degree and you look to find a place, say, I want to play more football. That tells me real down deep love for the sport. Fact of the matter is, you know, we can only do these things for so long.
Yep.
And then you're going to go on with your degree and do some really good things. But talk to us about how does it feel being, you know, I guess kind of post-senior, if that's the term, you know, graduate level, but you still get eligibility. How does that feel? Because, you know, the guys have to look at you from a leadership standpoint, but at the same time, you just got to be excited that, dude, I'm still out on that field on Saturday afternoons.
It's kind of bittersweet. You know, all good things come to an end, and I know I've got 4 more games, so, you know, I'm just going to make the most of it and enjoy it and really take it in and just, you know, fall in love with the process, the practices. You know, it's stuff people don't like sometimes, but, you know, one day I'm going to look back and I'm going to miss the, you know, the 2-hour practices in the heat. So, you know, just taking it in and enjoying it and just, you know, living day by day with that.
Offensive lineman?
Yes, sir.
So you stay real busy. As somebody told me the other day, and I found a neat little poem about it, that really an offensive lineman's position is truly the only one on the field whose job is to officially protect somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, let the QB do his business there. Tell us about just kind of the X's and O's of that, and how it looks differently with a team that, because we'll be seeing this kind of for the rest of the season, those that have the good running game and what you got to do, and then those that have a passing game and how that works when you're working things defensively, but at the same time, momentum plays in huge for you guys because you've got to let whoever's in that QB role fire things up and get things moving down the field. But like a game on Saturday in which, you know, we go in halftime and nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Let's just face it, nobody's happy. I wasn't in the locker room, but I got a pretty good guess. Coach Clifton wasn't happy. Nobody was happy. But y'all made adjustments. You made things better. You didn't give up. How is that from a player standpoint in terms of maintaining your focus and making sure you take care of the little things that got us back in that ball game, had us in a position to win it?
I agree. I feel like when we went in at halftime, there wasn't a lot we needed to say. I mean, both sides of the ball kind of knew that, you know, we came out and we didn't start fast, you know. So we all kind of knew what we needed to do, and we came back, and, you know, I didn't get the feeling that anybody thought we were out of the fight. You know, we came and battled back like Coach Clifton was talking about, and, you know, at no point in that game did I think, you know, we didn't have a shot. And, you know, even at the end, we ended up scoring, time was gone, and, you know, if we had one more quarter to play, I really think we would have won that game. So I felt like everybody stayed positive and upbeat, and, you know, we just ran out of time.
You said you're going to enjoy the remaining games on the slate this season as you kind of wind some things down. You got your degree from Western in business, is that correct?
Business administration.
What are you going to do with that?
You know, I really don't know. You know, I've took some classes here, some teaching classes. You know, I might want to, you know, go that route and become a teacher, or I might end up coaching. So right now I have no clue what I'm doing yet. But I do have a business degree. I've always loved football, and it's something I'm going to have to be around. So I feel like I'm going to end up coaching sooner or later. So
That is good, making good, positive impact on young people and giving them that passion of, you know, I got my degree finished, but I got some eligibility. Let me go play some more.
yeah, exactly.
That is great. Well, we appreciate the effort that you and all the guys put forth out there. I get the privilege of being up top and watching what you guys do, and also get the behind the scenes during the week when you said it's just hot, and everybody's out there like, oh my land, what happened to fall in the mountains? It's going to arrive probably in December, but it is appreciated. Glad you made the journey and found the hill. Glad Coach Clifton able to, you guys connected and make that happen. So good luck rest of this season. and best of luck to you in all your career ahead.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to our second line player feature of the evening, RJ Acevedo.
Yes, sir.
From Apopka, Florida. You want to know where that is? It's to the east of Orlando. I had to ask because I didn't know, but you're a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
Playing here for the Mountain Lions. How's it feel, first off, to kind of be up in the normally cool Carolina mountains versus, well, it's real hot back in Central Florida?
Well, it's a different type of heat back in Florida, like a dry heat. So but the heat here is not that bad. So.
You play defensive lineman?
Yes, sir.
Talk to us a little bit about that in terms of how does that look during the week as you guys are getting prepped for, let's say the upcoming game against Carson-Newman. How does that look in terms of what your emphasis is?
There's a lot of effort at practice, and then going to weights every Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's a whole week to prepare.
We're talking, Brandon, about the game over against Tusculum and how it was really just two complete different games. It really was. That first half and then the second half, and just totally different complexion to that. We know what the offense had to do in terms of making things happen in terms of the scoring aspect in that second half. But how does that look from a player perspective of you're playing defense and your squad's down some points? Do you really feel a greater effort and greater need to, hey guys, we got to get some stops in here and get our offense back out on the field?
Yeah. As when we're down, like you need to put more effort, and like Coach Clifton said, you got to dig deeper.
Well, and it paid off there. It really does. Talk to me about the defensive line. Younger, you're a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
So are we, and I should know this, but it's part of the brain's not working right now. So are we a fairly young defensive line this year?
A lot of the people we had last year came back, so
Okay.
we have some experience, but we're still relatively young. We only have 2 seniors right now.
Okay. So we should be in good shape.
Going on.
Looking forward there, absolutely. Played high school ball.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Florida, North Carolina. How do you end up here? Who did you know that knew that we existed here in the Carolina Mountains?
No one really. I was in a high school all-star game, and
Okay.
Coach Barnett was looking at the game, and he liked how I played, so he went to my high school, got to know me. We kept in contact, and that's all she wrote. Now I'm here.
You mentioned Coach Barnett. Kevin and I were in school together, high school and college, so we go way back. But not only Coach Barnett, but Coach Clifton. We've got some guys that have put a lifetime into this program. I think it shows. But how does that feel from a player's perspective that, hey, we've got these guys that could have put their coaching legacy somewhere else, but they chose to put it in this program? Do you see that same passion that I see from these guys
Oh, yeah,
on a regular basis?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
And Coach Barnett, good gosh, he's, I think within the league, he's certainly the senior guy in terms of defensive coordinators. So
Yes, sir.
makes a difference there. Looking ahead, got 4 more games. Got Carson-Newman coming up Saturday. It's their homecoming. We've had our homecoming.
Yeah.
So didn't go the way we wanted to, but now we can go over there and it's going to be tough. How do you get prepped for that? Because we've had that, here we had homecoming, and Coach and I talked about it coming in, that you're out of the norm, so to speak, because you got all these folks on campus and you get players who want to come back and visit and say hello and all. That's great. We love that. But you got to stay focused. Now you got to kind of switch to, it's Carson-Newman's role to stay focused. And we're more in that Tusculum role of going over as the visitor. How do you transition those emotions from past Saturday of in front of the home crowd to this Saturday, in my opinion, played in front of the toughest crowd in the league?
Well, how you practice is a big defining how you play on Saturday. So you need to practice hard all those days we have so we can win on Saturday.
And is it, everybody says, you just tune everybody out. Can you really tune everybody out, or you just kind of tone down the volume of everybody else?
I just really just focus on Coach Barnett and the signals so I can get down and ready to play.
That was the right answer to the question. That's good. We know you continue to do well for Mars Hill. I just looking at your stats in terms of your tackles and such, and 4 solo tackles, 8 assists, 12 total, averaging out 2 per game. You are 6'1", 325. I will tell you, you come my direction, you wouldn't have to attack me, I'd just fold. But I enjoy your passion. It really shows through that you know, just like Brandon, you guys, you get it that, hey, these are special moments. They really are. He's kind of winding things down here, but you got a few more years with us, so enjoy those, and appreciate all the hard work out here on Saturday afternoons and during the week anytime. Team focus for the remainder of the season. How do you guys keep it together for kind of the home stretch of the season of going on the road for a while, because we're not going to be back here until November. We take to the road, and it just, I look at the schedule like we don't come home till mid-November. That's tough. How do you guys get prepped for that, just to say, hey, we're going to finish strong? We're going to have to finish strong on somebody else's stadium.
You gotta be mentally tough. Like, you gotta be ready to fight. Gotta get ready for that fight.
Well, that mental toughness shows, and your efforts out there show. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good rest of the week. Stay healthy, and we'll see you down on the field on Saturday.
All right.
We'll be back right after this. back. Stuart Jolley along with head coach Tim Clifton. A quick recap of action in the South Atlantic Conference and rankings from last week. Lenoir-Rhyne is 4-0. Carson-Newman's 3-1. Tusculum 2-1. Newberry 1-1. Marsville 2-2. Wingate, Catawba, and Limestone are all 0 and something in the league. 0-2 in the case of Wingate and Catawba, 0-3 in the case of Limestone. And then if you look at by game in terms of results last week, Carson-Newman 52, Limestone 24, Albany State 35, Catawba 21, that really seesawed back and forth for the Indians. Lenoir-Rhyne 34, Newberry 21, and Wingate 51, UNC Pembroke 7. So I mean, it's really we're still on the hunt, Coach.
Yeah,
we really are.
Still there. We need some help. You know, somebody's got to get Lenoir-Rhyne, but we need some help there. But you know, we've got to focus on getting ready for Carson-Newman and you know, their tradition and how good they've been over the years, and they're having another really good year. And so, you know, we got some work to do this week to get ready.
I pulled some of the numbers on Carson-Newman, and you know, we know how good year in, year out that program is for various reasons. Last win, though, was here at our place. We kept Ken Sparks from getting win 300. He had to wait an entire offseason before he got that. We won 23-20 here in 2011.
Yeah.
Last year in this stadium, Eagles won 30-21. First time these teams got together back in 1963. So it's been a while. Here's the tough part. And I should have known this because, well, been around that long. We have not beaten Carson-Newman at Mossy Creek in 29 years.
Yeah, it's been a hard road.
It really has.
We've had some great games over there in 2010. We had that TV game, and we drove the length of the field to win the game, and with about a minute or so,
yes, sir,
we threw a pick down there on the goal line, and so we've been in a bunch of games over there. A few years ago, we were in it again, and then here last year, I thought we had some mistakes that cost us, you know. So, but it's a tough place to play. There's not many people that have gone over.
No, I mean, we say that.
In the conference,
29 years. We're not the only one like that. And what's interesting is, back in 1989 with that victory, we were the only team that beat the Eagles that year. That's when we were still NAIA schools. They won NAIA championship again that year. I think they're fifth, and Marsville was the only team that knocked them off, because it seems that those years where they've been kind of clicking along, we give them fits.
Yeah, and we have over the years over there. It's there've been some tough games and some tough matches here. Probably the greatest game I think that's ever been played here. We beat them here in maybe 94, 95, where we onside kicked a couple of times and got it and scored with no timeouts twice, you know. And then over there, like I said, in 10, that was just probably good a football game. It was on a Thursday night on TV, and it was a great football game.
Carson-Newman has a very balanced attack. Surprisingly, I think they've kind of gone back to more of a run game a little bit this year, it seems. And some of the games that I watched, they televised against Wingate. Mike Turner, second year as head coach. I think for them last year it was kind of a, truth be known, it was just an interesting year because for the first time in 37 years, Ken Sparks wasn't under the headset, and Mike had come in as his replacement. So that I'd kind of give that as a transition year, but they're back kind of running the normal stuff. But you and I know they hadn't changed a lot because Mike Turner was dialing up the offense, has been for 30-some years.
Yeah, and Mike was a player there, and then and was there for years. Left, become a head high school coach, went right back, and he's run that offense for the last 10 or 15 years, and Ken just turned it over to him, and it's and Mike understands the split back veer, which they're probably one of maybe 3 or 4 teams in the country that runs it. I'm not sure there's that many that run it in college football. So, but they're really good at it. They have an answer for whatever you do because they've done it for so long. And their kids know how to run it, and they always give you fits because they can run the split back veer, but they also can run a couple other things that give you trouble with off tackle power play that they're really good at, and they just and if they're throwing the ball well, it's really a tough day.
Homecoming over there on Saturday afternoon, it's a tough place to play anyway. And then I'm like, oh, and now it's homecoming, 3 o'clock. Weather's supposed to cool off some, so I think that's going to help everybody. But in terms of prep for them, as you said, they tend to do what they've always done. Does that make it, from a coaching standpoint, it would seem to me be like, well, we now know what they do, but they always seem to put in a couple of extra wrinkles.
Oh, they every time you play them, they're going to have wrinkles. They're going to have the base of the split back veer and running the inside veer and the outside veer and running the speed option, which, but they'll always have wrinkles. They have draws, they have screens. They're one of the best screen teams in the country every year because you work so hard all week to stop the inside veer and the outside veer, and then they put in a couple of wrinkles and and they're able to execute the draw that's really tough because you got your ears laid back to come and pinch or either come get him, and they sprint out extremely well and then run a cutback draw and then they run a drop back draw and then they throw the screens and then they can throw the bubble outside. So while you're in there hunkering down to stop all the things that is their bread and butter, they're getting you with everything else, So, Catawba I thought played extremely well against them, and but they were able to get a little screen and some other things against them, and Newberry has probably played them better than anybody on defense. But what I think makes them really good this year is their defense is so good. They've got so many guys back on defense, and they really got everybody back on offense except one. I think I counted them up today, and everybody back on defense except for 2.
I was looking here at the rushers. Wimbush is averaging 7.7 yards a carry. Johnson with just shy of 9 yards a carry. Sharon Jackson with 7, and then you get on down in the depth chart, and you got some guys that are spelling them, and you're still getting 7 or 8 yards a carry. So they have a little bit bigger cupboard than we do to kind of pull the talent from. We'll get into some depth there, I'm sure. Head to head, I kind of talk it in terms of ones. We match up fairly well.
Yeah, and I think Wimbush is such a really good back. It seems like he's been there 10 years.
It does.
He got hurt last year, but he is really a heck of a running back, and they just keep mixing those guys in. They all look like clones, and they line up about. It seems like they're 1 yard from the line of scrimmage when the ball's snapped, but they line up extremely tight to the line of scrimmage. It hits so fast, you just never see it. I mean, it's so quick hitting that if you miss an assignment, that's where they get their yardage. The next thing you know, they've hit in there, and you've stopped them. Then all of a sudden, you miss an assignment, and it's gone 80 yards. Because if it breaks the line of scrimmage, it's got a chance to go. It's got a chance to go house every time it breaks the line of scrimmage.
We know the game against Tusculum here on homecoming, turnovers ended up, playing out to our detriment, even though we came back and answered certainly in the second half. So I'm thinking, okay, prepping for this week, I'm sure that you've covered that with the team. Check. Cut down on turnovers. We're working on third down efficiency. Check. And we're improving on that. Got to work on fourth down. We're going to get that. What else do you want to see in terms of growth from this team that if we do this, it's going to pay dividends on Saturday afternoon?
Well, I think the biggest thing for this week is going to be assignments more than anything. You just have to play assignment football. You try to make plays, and what happens is guys follow the ball. They think they're following the ball, and the ball's not there. So you can't. If you have a responsibility to take the dive, you got to take it. And if you have a responsibility to take the quarterback, and that's your responsibility, you got to take the quarterback. And same thing with the pitch. So you got to have somebody assigned, and they got to do that assignment. I think the teams that have had success are the teams that can hold the football. I think you got to play keep away from them. You got to get first downs, and then you got to get some help. They got to turn it over some because it hits so fast. That ball's got to hit the ground sometime for you. But the teams that have had any success, and there's not many that had success, but any of them have success, they're they're going to hold on to the football, and they're going to get first downs, and you just got to get first downs and keep moving the chains and keep their offense off the field. Now their defense is so good this year, people are having trouble, keeping that offense off the field. But the key factor is to figure out how to, sort of narrow the game, make the game a shorter game.
Well, we know one thing, whether those games are here at Mirror Stadium or over in Burke Tar, when the Mountain Lions and the Eagles get together, more often than not, they are very interesting ball games.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some great games with them.
We really have.
We've had some high-scoring games and some low-scoring games. It's been a little crazy over the years, but we got to go in and we're going to have to play the way we played the second half extremely hard. I mean, because they're relentless. It's at you all the time, and we've got to be relentless on defense, and on offense. It's all got to be about execution. We got to really execute and not only execute our assignments, but play extremely hard while we execute those assignments. And then on defense, we have got to play with a lot of energy, and when we get our hands on them, we got to bring them down. They're really they hit it so fast, they break so many tackles that we've got to put bodies on them to get them on the ground.
And I think, like you said, the key is we basically need to pick up where we left off in the second half here at Mirror Stadium. We can do that, then it's going to be a really interesting afternoon.
I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It really will.
It'll be a lot of fun.
We talked about homecoming on the Mars Hill University campus. A couple of shout outs to Sarah Holzclaw LaGuardia and her husband. They did a great job getting class of '93 with some big celebrations and some tailgating, and she was fantastic. A lot of folks getting involved with that. We had Coach and had the privilege in talking to some of the former Lion players that came back. They made their way down the stadium, got to talk to the team, and those are things that make this place special.
Yeah, and I thought those guys did a great job of talking to the team, and several of them hadn't seen in a long time, so it was really nice to see them. And then on Saturday, we got a chance to see a lot of our former players. They came by the office. I don't think I got out of here till close to, it was closer to 7 o'clock, probably by the time I got out of here. But it's always good to see those guys and see their families and see what they've accomplished, and then how much they love coming back to Mars Hill, and even the older guys, they still call it the Hill. I mean, just getting back to the Hill. And I thought Sarah did a great job of putting that thing together for that class, and there were other classes here, and it's just neat to see all the alums, even guys we didn't coach. I mean, we had those guys come that were played way before we got here.
But they feel the kinship to the program.
Yeah,
They really do.
It was great seeing them, and it's a tradition I think we started this year that we're going to continue to do, is to try to get them all back on Friday nights and try to get them here before they go and celebrate and start getting ready for homecoming.
We will be back a week from tonight on Monday, as we will talk about the Carson-Newman Mountain Lion game. It kicks off at 3 o'clock over in Jefferson City at Burnt Stadium. It's homecoming on their university campus, so here's a tip. Get there early. They will have a crowd. For head coach Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week. Until then, go Lions. So long for now.
Hey, MHU on 3. 1, 2, 3.
MHU!